Hi, I'm Steve Pond. We're here at the Sundance Film Festival with Matt Tyrnauer, the director of Where's My Roy Cohn? I mean, how do you describe Roy Cohn?
He's really the key to every dark art of politics and the underworld and the overworld, basically. I call him the bridge between the world of organized crime and the legitimate world of politics.
So what made you want to do a film about this guy?
I decided to make this movie the day after Trump won the election of 2016. The other thing that Roy Cohn is Donald Trump's mentor and really creator. And I thought, of course, all during that year that Trump would not be president and that Roy Cohn would be a footnote in history. But when Trump had his surprise victory, I thought this was the only film worth making right then, and to show the world really the Rosetta Stone, the decoder ring of how we got to now.
And Donald Trump gave you your movie title.
Basically what he was saying is someone who was going to be the pit bull and the lawbreaker, but the legal defense at the same time. Roy Cohn's motto was, don't tell me about the law, just tell me who the judge is.
We know the public stuff that Roy Cohn did. We don't know that the guy had a collection of frog figurines and stuffed animals.
Right.
And you also have a priceless story that Roy Cohn's parents got married in a bit of backroom dealing that was sort of worthy of Roy Cohn.
Yes, exactly. I mean, his literal origin story, his birth, was the product of a backroom deal. His mother was a daughter of great wealth. But she had a problem finding a husband for whatever reason. Her cousin in the film refers to her as the ugliest girl in the Bronx, which might have been part of her problem. She also had a difficult personality. Being an unmarried late 30-something in the 1920s was not a good position to be in. So the family struck a deal with a young, poor lawyer named Al Cohn. If he would marry the unfortunate Dora, he would be made a judge, and he was. And Roy Cohn was their only child.
Maybe, 10 minutes into the movie, we see Roger Stone talking about Roy Cohn with admiration, and this came like a few hours after Roger Stone was arrested by the FBI, right?
People were asking me whether I had a direct line to Robert Mueller about this. I don't. It was an incredible coincidence. Stone appears in the first, 5 minutes of the film. And Roger Stone was created by Roy Cohn. Donald Trump was created by Roy Cohn. They all worked together in the early 80s, and they're cut from the same cloth. In fact, some people would say that Roger Stone and Donald Trump are Roy Cohn. They totally subsumed his tactics, his personality, and his amorality and transactional method for everything.
I feel like, in a way, he would love the fact that more than 20 years after his death, there's a movie about him.
Any attention is good attention. There's no such thing as bad publicity. These weren't adages that he made up, but he certainly subscribed to them. That reminds you of someone else, I'm sure. As long as the conversation's about you, that narcissistic personality, that borderline personality seems to enjoy it. His family members have come up to me and said, Roy would have loved the film. The film is not a positive portrayal.
And they managed to keep secret, basically, the fact that he was a closeted gay man who was doing very damaging things to the gay community.
Yes, well, Roy Cohn's mentor, one of them, was J. Edgar Hoover, another closet homosexual who was a hypocrite. So he learned it early in life. Now, at that time, it was not really possible for a public figure to be an out gay man. We have to acknowledge that. But not every powerful gay man made it his business to persecute other gay men. Cohn was the author, really, of the strategy of the Lavender Scare, which was, in part, Joseph McCarthy's campaign against gay men in government. And the Army-McCarthy hearings, which were a traumatic passage in our history, were all about false accusations by Cohn and McCarthy that the Army had a cabal of homosexuals that was also a communist spy ring. None of it was true. It was all made up for demagogic and personal advantage. And Roy Cohn was right there doing that, at the same time living the life of a gay man. And this hypocrisy continued until his death of, I should note, complications of HIV/AIDS, which he denied he had until the day he died.
Even as the Reagan administration was pulling strings to get him experimental AIDS treatment.
Yes, I mean, this is really one of the darkest chapters of our modern history. The Reagan administration's record on the HIV crisis was abysmal. They denied it existed. It was underfunded. They didn't do anything to promote the public health aspects of it, and was used as a political wedge to alienate the public using gay people as a scare tactic. Really about as ugly as it gets. At the same time, there was no one who was a better friend of Nancy Reagan and also Ronald Reagan than Roy M. Cohn. He helped them in many ways, and they helped him get into an experimental treatment at the National Institutes of Health that nobody else who had HIV could get into. So at the same time, the Reagans are complicit in an HIV pandemic and not helping American citizens. Their pet, Roy Cohn, is getting special medical treatment to overcome this illness. It doesn't really get more hypocritical, uglier, or sadder than that.